of project management has matured greatly over the past 2 decades, and a large part of that has been a result of conceptualizing the project experience into an understandable model. Much of this recognition has come from the effort of organizations such as the Project Management Institute, or PMI, and from this PMI is now recognized as the facto definer of the accepted model description. However, there are other similar models defined. Two major competitor definitional models are PRINCE2, projects in controlled environments from the UK, and the Association of Project Management, or APM, a Royal Chartered organization also in the UK.
Ancillary standard and certification that require PMI continues to provide knowledge and leadership in the standard and certification of project management principles. Beyond the PMP certification, there are various other focus areas and certifications sponsored by PMI, and all are internationally recognized. Each of the professional certification initiatives impinge on some aspect of the project work in some form. Each of these certification would be considered a niche skill within the overall PM book. Project management model divided into several processes from initiation, planning, executing, monitoring and control, and the last process is closing. This process based on the PM book guide model.
The first process is initiation. This process group is involved with the activities required to define and authorize the project of the test. One of the most important aspects of the initiation process is the evaluation of the vision from a goal alignment perspective. Initiation must consider factors such as resource constraints, risk, technical capabilities, and its. After that, management approval is needed to go into a more detailed planning stage. The second process is planning. This process relates to the activities required to produce a formal project plan that contains objective, budget, schedule, and other relevant information to guide for the next stage. The principal goals of the planning phase is to produce an accurate, measurable, and workable project plan that has considered the impact of the knowledge areas. The main output of this phase is a formal project plan that outlines not only the scope, schedule, and the budget for the project, but also how the project will deal with integrating the fields of the quality, human resource, communication, risk, and the other procurement. A great deal of formal documentation is produced in the various planning activities. The formal terms for this is an integrate project plan and the resulting planning documentation, including all the respect knowledge area views for the project. The third process is execution. This process uses the project plan as a reference guide for integrating all work activities into the production of project objectives. The ultimate execution goal is to deliver the desired result within the planned time and budget. In this stage, there are responsibilities including coordination of resource, team management, quality assurance, and supervision of the project plan, and the formal management documents produced during this group of activities are closely related to status information.
The fourth process is monitoring and control. Monitoring and control has the aim of proactively guiding project toward successful completion. When a project is not on schedule, scope, quality, or cost, the monitoring and control process. This phase determines the effort to return to the planned target. One of the important aspects of this phase is the risk monitoring process, which involves monitoring various aspects of project risk, including technical, quality, performance, management, organization, and the external event. The last process in management project is closing. So formal project closure involves a group of activities need to formally close the project and document the receipt of result. The basic role of this phase is to leave the project administratively clean and to capture important lessons gained from effort that can be shared with other projects. Failure to execute the final vendor status for the project can open up future responsibility for the organization if the supplier then makes a claim for poor performance. The knowledge area is represent a set of competency and process skill that must be put to good use by the project team throughout the life cycle. The process contained in these knowledge areas interact along 5 high-level life cycle process groups. The basic roles for each MA will be summarized below, and further detail about their work will appear in various formats throughout in this book. The aim at this point is to introduce them briefly as a major component of the life cycle model. It represents basic vocabulary concept and is an important idea in the overall management framework. And there are 10 knowledge areas. The first one is scope, time, cost, quality, human resource, communication, risk, procurement, stakeholder, and the last is integration.
The first knowledge area is scope management. Scope management involves the work efforts required to ensure that all defined requirements are properly produced based on the elaborate requirement statement. This process in this knowledge area takes a high-level project vision and decompose that into a lower-level work breakdown view. These activities involve translation of the formal statement of requirements, while later activities deal with control of requirements change process and verification that the ongoing results will meet the customer expectation. The second knowledge area is schedule management. This process deals with the mechanics and management requirements for translating the defined scope into work unit activities and then linking those activities into a project schedule. The third knowledge area is cost management. This knowledge area includes various activities and processes that create a project budget, then establish a control function to monitor ongoing results. The process of generating a project budget involves estimate a human resource and material costs for each defined work unit. The values that are determined from this process help the project team to develop a cost budget which includes not only the direct to work cost estimates, but also various other cost components needed to support the overall project activities. And discuss budgeting, organize the values and estimates from the various sources and produce a cost baseline that is used to assure project performance. The fourth process of knowledge area is quality management. This knowledge area focuses on all aspects, both the product and the project quality process. The quality planning process is designed to focus the team on organizational or industry-related quality standards to be achieved for the project deliverables. The quality assurance process reviews the state of the project from its ability to deliver the required results, while the quality control process covers the technical procedures to measure quality of the output. The fifth knowledge area is resource management. This knowledge area focuses on action related to human elements of the project. Process activities in this area deal primarily with acquiring, developing, and managing the project team. In a matrix-type project organization, resources are typically not dedicated to one project, but are leveraged across multiple projects and serve for various departments in organization. This complicates the resource allocation mechanics from the project management and makes the acquisition step more complex than one might anticipate.
Communication management. Communication problems are now recognized as one of the most causal reasons for project failure. Project communication management activities are designed to support the information needs of the various project stakeholders. One of the key aspects involved in these processes is to identify who the targets are for communications, then explicitly plan how communication will flow during project execution. This area has been increasingly recognized as a critical aspect of project success. Risk management of LRT Jakarta. Much bigger the infrastructure project is handled, much bigger risk challenge will accept it. The result of the risk assessment, implementation of the LRT project are in the medium risk category based on 5 risk variables of the project implementation. Potential factors that can trigger high risk in this research are delay in project payment, project transaction process that introduce the government finance, and bad schedule control implementation. Procurement management. The procurement management process are utilized to manage the acquisition of these items. This area of project management has historically been considered very mature, but in recent years, the increase in outsourcing has made these troublesome areas for the PM, as these project resources have become scattered across wide geographic areas. The procurement planning process lays the policy groundwork to guide how project materials and external human resources needs will be externally accurate. This activity area often involves the organization, procurement function, and legal department.
Stakeholder management. A project can finish according to defined requirement and be judged a success, only to be judged later as a failure in the light of unrecognized stakeholder expectation. The focus of this area is involved with identifying who the stakeholders are and then keeping them in the communication channel throughout in the life cycle. Integration management, process and activities for identifying, defining, combining, uniting, coordinating various project management process and activities in the project management process group. Also related to this could be change in staffing or procurement areas, and so on. The key idea of process integration is that change in one KA process often spawn change in another.
LRT is part of the mass rapid transit, but with smaller area coverage and a more compact and lightweight fleet form. The technology allows the train to go safely and flexible, follow the contours of the tracks on sharp turns. This technology is the first time applied in Indonesia in this Jakarta LRT project. Jakarta LRT trains will be operated with an average speed of around 50 km per hour and can reach a maximum speed of up to 90 km per hour. Currently, the LRT corridor is limited to serving routes from Kelapa Gading to Velodrome along 5.8 kilometers with a normal tariff of 5,000 rupiah. The next plan for the extension of the Jakarta Phase 2 LRT route is divided into Phase 2A of the Kelapa Gading route to the Jakarta International Stadium along 7.5 km and Phase 2B Velodrome until Manggarai along 5.9 km. Thus, it is hoped that the existence of the Jakarta LRT will be able to unravel the problem of congestion in the capital and surrounding area.
Initiation process of LRT Jakarta. The idea of the LRT Jakarta began to emerge when the Jakarta Monorail project, which was reactivated in October 2013 by the Governor of DKI Jakarta at the time, who was Joko Widodo, is delayed. The delay was due to the DKI Jakarta provincial government and of DKI Jakarta was Basuki Cahayapurnama. Basuki Cahayapurnama not granting the request submitted by PT Jakarta Monorail to build a depot above the Setiabudi Reservoir at Tanah Abang, because the result of a study by the Ministry of Public Works and Public Housing stated that if a depot was built on the Setiabudi Reservoir, it was feared that the Latur Harhari embankment would reoccur. Basuki preferred to build LRT over monorail. In fact, Basuki has revealed the development plan to President Joko Widodo until the 2016 LRT Jakarta start to be built. Planning process of LRT Jakarta. The purpose of LRT Jakarta is as a mass rapid transit system to realize strategic development. The financial scheme of LRT Jakarta is regional capital participation, designed by PT Pembangunan Jaya and PT Konstruksi Jaya. LRT Jakarta divided into three phase development. Phase 1 development, the road is Kelapa Gading into Velodrome. The budget is 6,000 billion rupiah. Development starts in 2016 until 2019. The road length is 5.8 km, and phase 2 development divided into two development. First development is Pegangsaan 2 until Jakarta International Stadium, and second Velodrome until Manggarai. The budget is 7,000 billion rupiah and 6,000 billion rupiah. The development starts in 2020 until 2022 and 2022 until 2024. The road length is 8.1 kilometer and 6 kilometer. Phase 3 development, the road is Manggarai until Duku Atas and Tanah Abang until Kebayoran Baru. The budget, the date, and the road length is waiting for approval. Execution process of LRT Jakarta, Phase 1 development. In 2016, the construction of LRT Jakarta began to be built. It began with a groundbreaking which took place on June 22 during the 489th anniversary of DKI Jakarta. In 2017, LRT Jakarta has done car ready fabrication, car painting, track assembling, and in September, PT LRT Jakarta was officially established. In December, PT LRT Jakarta recruited human resource operation and maintenance. In 2018, the operation of LRT Fortes is limited for general passenger. In 2019, integration socialization of Transjakarta and LRT Jakarta named Naik JAK 24 and Naik LRT and established a public test. LRT Jakarta project is targeted to be complete before the Asian Games 2018, which will be held starting on August 18, but can only be officially launched on December 1st, 2019. Phase 2 development. The construction of Phase 2 development of LRT Jakarta is in danger of being cancelled. This was cancelled by the central government because it collided with the MRT project along the Cikarang, Ujung Menteng, Kalideres, Balaraja Corridor Road. The central government asked LRT to change lanes. In additional, DKI Jakarta DPRD Commission B member Robert Simanjuntak considered that the Phase 2 LRT project was not in accordance with the Special Detail Plan and Special and Regional Spatial Plan. Gilbert suspects that the planning was carried out without careful preparation.
Monitoring control process of LRT project management is needed to ensure that the ongoing project is in accordance with the plans that have been formulated. If there is a discrepancy with the original plan, corrective action can be taken immediately. Included in the monitoring and control phase of the LRT project are cost control, quality control to ensure product compatibility between initial control and final control, and the last one is including time control. Closing process of LRT Jakarta was declared closed after the implementation of the project evaluation procedure and completion of various other administrative matters in the form of handover document. When all technical and administrative requirements have been completed, the LRT can be operated, and on 11 June 2019, a public trial of LRT was carried out, and on 1 December 2019, the LRT was commercially operated.
Scope management of LRT Jakarta includes vision, missions, and LRT Jakarta values. Vision of LRT Jakarta is to be the best of public mobility solution in Indonesia. Mission of LRT Jakarta are providing safe and comfortable public transportation service in Jakarta. Second, develop a modern and integrated public transportation network. And the last is building the company's reputation by developing human research that having the LRT Jakarta value. What is LRT Jakarta value? LRT Jakarta value contains 4 values, that is lincah or agility, ramah or service, terpercaya or reliability, and the last one is jujur or integrity. Schedule management of LRT Jakarta. After launching the project of LRT Jakarta on 22 June 2016, Jakpro has been working on a series of preparatory activities for the Jakarta LRT development. On March 4, 2019, the Director General of Railways conducted a safety assessment phase 2 of LRT Jakarta. On March 11, 2019, PT Jakarta Propindo or Jakpro, as the project implementer, carried out the process of business license, operating license, PSO, tariff setting, and application for operation to the Governor of DKI Jakarta. LRT can be operated commercially on March 18, 2019. In the information of LRT operational, the schedule can be accessed through the LRT Jakarta website. Cost management of LRT Jakarta, the 5.8 km project cost around 5,000 billion rupiah is used for LRT construction. Meanwhile, for the track itself, it's around 400 billion rupiah. All of these funds come from the DKI Jakarta Regional Revenue and Expenditure Budget or called APBD. For its conclusion, the LRT Jakarta tariff is only 5,000 rupiah itself. It's far cheaper than the economic tariff, which is 41,000 rupiah. The amount of subsidy is projected to be more 3,000 billion rupiah. Quality management of LRT Jakarta. In LRT Jakarta, quality planning has a standard for maximum project results, where the quality management must understand ISO QMS auditor certificates. During the LRT Jakarta operational process, in the form of issuance of certification of LRT facility eligibility, issuance of the infrastructure certification, we start with the technical recommendation stage, safety aspect assessment of LRT Jakarta operation, supervision of standard operation procedure of the minimum safety standard and the LRT Jakarta operational safety standard, and document separation of the railway safety management system. Human resource management of LRT Jakarta. Human resource is most important asset and the main factor that determines the success of the company. LRT Jakarta fosters long-term working relationship with its employee that having a sense of a togetherness between employees and also the company to jointly realize a sustainable path for their careers. LRT Jakarta will try to improve the quality of LRT Jakarta human resource itself so that they can contribute and develop themselves to the maximum level. Training and also development programs are prepared to develop hard skill and also soft skill of each LRT Jakarta human resource based on competence that need to be developed.
Communication management of LRT Jakarta. This operation requires certification from the Ministry of Transportation, Republic of Indonesia. Besides that, in the pricing of fares, the DKI Jakarta Deputy Governor should to make a discussion with other stakeholders. In the implementation, Ombudsman should check the facilities provided such as escalator, lift, CCTV, etc. to make sure the development already use the existing standards. Ombudsman will also communicate with the LRTG developer about LRT complaint application so that LRTG user can make complaints and suggestions. Risk management of LRT Jakarta. Much bigger the infrastructure project is handled, much bigger risk challenge will accepted. The result of the risk assessment, implementation of LRT project are in the medium risk category based on 5 risk variables of project implementation. Potential factors that can trigger high risk in this research are delay in project payment, project transaction process that interrupted due to government finance, and bad schedule control implementation. Procurement management of LRT Jakarta. In establishing a procurement of an item, a more efficient and inexpensive offer will be considered. PT Inka signed a contract as a procurement of light rail transit train due to efficient costs compared to overseas offering and could create jobs. In procurement the train, PT Inka involved the entire university in its manufacturing process such as door, agency, and all involved. Stakeholders management of LRT Jakarta. Directorate General of Railways, Ministry of Transportation, Directorate General of Budget, Financing and Risk Management, Ministry of Finance, President Director of Adikarya, and President Director of PDSMI. In this case, the syndication of lender is already formed, hence the preparation of the project structure is necessary. The completion of financial closing makes the funding decision from the syndication consists of government-owned bank and PTSMI can be ensured. Start from the funding structure, the portion of equity and liability to the tenor and interest to the bank loan repayment. The last one is integration management of LRT Jakarta. In the implementation of integration management, all components in a process must be balanced to achieve desired result. An imbalanced process can affect the other's process. For example, there is an error in the cost management process where the process can affect the quality management process. If the cost is not consistent with the plan at the initial stage, then it can affect the quality of goods provided. This deficiency will cause the quality of goods that under specified standards. So in the implementation process, there will be another obstacles.